All right, so I wanted to talk about the Trump tweet regarding Rob Reiner's death and his wife's death recently. I'm gonna scooch out of the way so that you can pause this and read the whole thing if you want. All right, so I'm sure you've already seen it. Anyways, nothing this new there. I just wanted to give you a full scope because I'm kind of in the way. Oh, now I'm bigger. But anyways, so here's the thing. First off, okay, maybe it was a little bit distasteful. um, somebody was killed and like he's just like making up weird excuses for us because you have TDS. It's like, I mean, he did, but don't think that's the reason why it happened. I think it's that his son got a little psycho and turned a knife on his parents. So it is an unfortunate situation and all that. And maybe this is a little bit of a rough take. Maybe he could have just kept it, kind of more low key and just said, sad thing happened in Hollywood. Rob Reiner tortured and struggled. Well, doesn't even have to say tortured and struggled. You know what I mean? Keep it much shorter. Took out a whole bunch of the fluff in the middle. He is president, so it is something to keep in mind that you gotta, keep things a little more professional on a different level than you would as a normal citizen. Um, which, you gotta keep in mind that he has done quite a bit of tweeting as a normal citizen, so, that mindset is still there just to say whatever and it's goofy and people retweet it and laugh. But, anyways, what I do want to say is, in fairness to him, you know, one thing I never understand is when somebody dies, everyone's always supposed to be like, oh, sad about it, and try to think of nice things, and like I think a perfect scenario, a scene from a show that talks about this is in Sopranos when Livia dies, Tony's mom, and everybody's sitting around trying to think of nice things to say about her, and then finally somebody breaks. It's either Carmela's dad or Carmela herself is just like, this is ridiculous. Why are we sitting here trying to think of nice things to say about this lady? When she was alive, we all hated her and couldn't stand her, and now because she's dead, we're supposed to, oh, too bad she died. And then everyone starts to get real. They start chiming in like, yeah, you know what? She did suck. I did hate her. And so, yeah, it's something that I personally have always thought too. Like, why do people get fake like this? If somebody sucked when they were alive, why are you gonna, just because they're dead? It is what it is. If you were still alive, you'd still be getting hated on. So just because you're dead doesn't mean all of a sudden you're supposed to get loved. So, what I do want to say is, in defense of Trump putting this kind of nonsense out there, one, all Rob Reiner has done for the past decade is talk crap about Trump almost on the daily, whether it was on TV shows, whether it was on X and Twitter, or Twitter and X, whatever, just constantly talking about how Trump is so terrible and all this, and, pushing for January 6th arrests and everything. And, it's a decade. Like, if there's anybody to hate this guy and have a little bit of, negative feelings towards him, I think it's fair game that he feels a certain way. You also got to think, what would happen if the roles were reversed? What if he died? What if these assassination attempts that he had on him, one of them was successful? You think Rob Reiner would have been all sweet and, that's sad news to hear about Trump? No, he would have started it just like Trump. Sad thing happened. Trump lost his life, but then he probably would have finished it with some dumb nonsense like, well, since he was so fascist and racist, the world is a better place without him now. He'd finish it off with some dumb nonsense like that. And of course, all the lefties would love that. They wouldn't be crying about that. They're all crying about this because, Trump said it about somebody on our team. But if it was reversed, it would be great then. Yeah, fuck Trump, yeah. I also find it funny too with all these lefties crying about this message, but yet when Charlie Kirk died, they're all celebrating it. Oh, good, he was so racist and white supremacist and blah, 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 blah. Even though it's totally wrong. Clearly, they never listened to the guy. They never checked out anything he's ever had to say over the past 20 years. But, they were all for that. Or, they're all for the assassination of Trump. I still see things. I saw a post on X that said, all I want for Christmas is to see Trump's obituary or something. Like, that's okay though, you can post that, but this is too much. That's crossing the line. This, get real. Or like, what about his assassination attempts? Think about all those videos that were made after the failed attempts. The people, you had one job, how did you fail? Having their dumb meltdowns. That wasn't too extreme though. People literally like throwing fits that a guy wasn't murdered is okay, but just words on a social media profile that this guy owns, that's too much. Come on. And then you also got to think, Trump's at a point now where he's just like, I don't give an F anymore. I mean, you can tell just in his presidencies. His first presidency, he was easygoing, kind of goofy still. He smiled in his presidential picture. Now he's like, like they tried to make Dark Brandon a cool thing. Well, now he's like Dark Trump. His profile picture, the presidency is just mad. And he's always just serious and somber, not as goofy as he used to be in his first term. And it's like, gee, I wonder why. The left has just relentlessly attacked him. Attacked, to try to prosecute him for this, prosecute him for that. Go after his properties, go after anything. Tried to kill him twice. And so, yeah, maybe he's a little hardened now and cynical and doesn't care anymore. And when somebody who's been a huge proponent of these type of feelings against him for the past decade passes, of course he's not going to be all lovey-dovey, hunky-dory about it. He's going to be like, I don't care, F that guy. He didn't like me for the past 10 years, and I had to deal with this crap every single day. Well, not really deal with it, but, hear him talking crap about me every single day for the past 10 years. Like, what, you expect him to be sad? No! He don't care. I don't want to say he's saying that this is good riddance either, but, at the same time, he's like, hey, one less critic in the world now. So, yeah. Is this in bad taste? Sure. But is it, does it have, like, justification? Yeah.